Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, boy, do we have a show for you today. We have the wonderful Debbie Cook here with us today to really expound on one of the greatest things I think I've heard since I've been on this climate change adventure that I've been on. Mrs. Debbie Cook, please introduce yourself and tell the world what we are about to learn about today, okay?
Well, Timothy, hello.
How
I
are you?
mean, what enthusiastic introduction.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is great. Yeah, so I'm going to talk today about what I think is a miracle, a miraculous substance, and
Mhm.
I'm going to take you on a journey about it and hope I can convince you about why it is such a miraculous substance.
And what is this substance again for the world to know about?
It's called biochar, Biochar.
And it is hitting the world by storm. Right here, we have just a couple slides with something that you've created. Could you explain to us what is this miracle that you actually created?
All right. Well, I didn't create it. It was created. We'll find out a little more about it. It was created about 6,000 years ago in the Amazon. But
Okay.
this is why it's a miracle. It fights drought, and it fights drought because it holds in water like a sponge. It's something we put in the soil, holds water. It makes plants healthier because it also holds a whole bunch of microbes in it, and
Okay.
plants have that available. It also combats climate change.
Now
And
exactly how does it do that? And can I buy this at Walmart or somewhere like?
well, you can buy it at Lowe's, Home Depot, and places like that, but it's really got to be special ordered. And
Okay.
the reason is because a lot of people don't know about it, so they don't know to ask for it. So
And
that's what we're going to get people excited so they'll know to go get it.
now tell us why is it that people don't know? How did this become lost? I mean, how did this come to be like this?
Well, it started 6,000 years ago in the Amazon.
Hmm.
And I discovered that basically I was always taught that in the Amazon, it couldn't support any people because the soil was so poor. But
Hmm.
about 40 years ago, they discovered this. Well, everybody always knew about this incredible fertile black earth that they found in certain parts of the Amazon,
Okay.
and but only 40 years ago did they discover that it was this magical biochar was the substance that held it together.
Explain to us exactly how does biochar play its part in this ecosystem as far as it goes with farming.
Sure. So biochar is actually just a way of making, it's a special kind of charcoal, and it looks very much like, it's, if you could think of it like a sponge that just is almost pure carbon. And
Hmm.
if you think of these pores, when you make it, it makes these pores
Hmm.
that just a tiny amount in the palm of your hand, way less than this picture here.
Yes.
The pore surface area could cover 2 tennis courts. The beauty of that is that it will hold a lot of moisture and a lot of microbes that plants can use during times of drought. And also, that's how it enriches the soil because they can draw from this sponge that's
So it would be like
holding
a
water.
reserve.
It's a reserve, yeah.
Okay. So now going back to what you said earlier. Now, what you were saying earlier is that from the palm of your hand, it is enough biocarb to cover 2 tennis courts. What do you mean by that right there?
So what I meant is that little tiny bit, if you were to take all the big holes in it, or
Hmm.
the holes that have folded in and in and in, and you just took the surface area of it and spread it out, it would cover 2 tennis courts. If you can think of it like had a cylinder, and you opened the cylinder and laid the cylinder out. That's what I
Okay.
mean by surface area.
Okay.
So this all of those little cylinders, if you laid them all out, would cover 2 tennis
Cover
courts.
two tennis courts. Now, as
Yep.
far as it fighting drought, now okay, so because of its absorption rate, so it has a very high absorption rate. And this chart that I'm looking at right here was recreated to let us know the differences in the absorption rates and how does that help with the microbes and allowing the microbes to go into the substance to do its job.
So basically, the water fills those little pores,
Mhm.
and if you're looking at this chart here, um, the biochar, especially in the in the months where the plants are growing,
Mhm.
there's a lot more moisture held. The winter months, um, the water is pretty much the same, but in the summer months, you can see that the biochar is really holding a lot of water. So,
Okay. And by it holding a lot more water means equates to more growth. Am I correct? And this growth is gonna allow more nutrients to get inside of the plants. Like so, if I was growing grass or if I was growing crops, it would allow for more crops to be grown with the use or the help of biochar. Is that basically what this diagram is
yep,
showing?
yep, actually, yep, absolutely. Plants need water, and especially, they don't like, a lot of plants don't like, real changes from real dry then real wet. It's better to have it more even. So the
Yes.
biochar stores that water like a sponge, and then the plants can have a steady supply, which is
All for a
the
longer period
beauty
of
of
time. For a long
it.
now, I also heard you talking about a country that you went to.
I went to the place where biochar was initially invented 6,000 years ago, which
Hmm.
was Peru. In that whole there's actually biochar in more places than just Peru, but it was
Yes.
invented sort of in the Amazon,
Hmm.
and yeah, and that was 6,000 years ago, and it's still there today. So it's got a long Biochar's got a very long life. So if you look at this is basically the carbon cycle we've all learned. The trees take in the carbon from the atmosphere, and then they grow, and then they die, and when they die they go back. The carbon goes back into the atmosphere. The the um the um the chart on the right side
Yes.
is that where the biochar, where we're interrupting this cycle, and pulling out some carbon from the cycle.
How did we get to this point where it's in biochar and the production of it became an issue because of the lack of it?
Well, what we can do is actually, first of all, learn about it,
Hmm.
and then go and ask for it. If we go to our nurseries and we go to, big box stores and say, I am looking for biochar, then there'll be an incentive to have it on the shelves. The problem is not enough people know about it to know to even ask for it.
Well,
So,
yeah, yeah, and I believe that I think it's a twofold thing though, because even if a lot of people knew about it, would you be able to scale up to meet the demand if it rose to that level?
sure. So the positive side is that, of all of the good things that I said that it does, and fighting climate change and all of those things, the difficulty is basically we want it to accomplish important. We don't want to have to ship it great distances. That would negate, would cause a lot of problems. We also
Yes.
when we're making it, we don't want to, take down living trees and get fuel to make it from forests and things like that. So
Mhm.
the idea is it needs to be made regionally, so that we
Okay.
whatever we collect to burn is diseased or dead trees and plants and things like that, invasive species, is all of that. So, and we don't want to have to transport it very far. So
Okay.
so basically, that makes it more of a regional solution than something on a large scale.
Okay, so now keeping it on a regional, and I do think that because it puts more responsibility on the region to ensure that they are making a positive change against against climate change. Okay, as you're seeing right here, 1 pound of biochar removes about 3.7 pounds of CO2 from the atmosphere. Now, if we're making this more of a regional thing, as it's seen on this chart right here, the numbers won't lie. If more people are becoming aware of being made aware of this process, I do believe that we will play a major role on climate change, and we will move that pendulum back into the green zone by doing so. Now, making it more regional, I do believe is more better because it allows the climate to change in a way that basically, in my opinion, it was destroyed. Okay, you have to
Mhm.
really think about it. The more advanced your economy was, or the more advanced the country was, the more destruction we did in that area. Okay, so therefore, those heavily hit areas, I do believe, should be the ones that will be using more biochar per region. Okay, which will
Mhm.
bring back which will reduce a massive amount, and then it will allow the rest of the world, based upon their usage over time, based off their economy, that will go to show how much we invest into the biochar program in those areas, even if it is to bring back more so their vegetation. They could be having issues with vegetation, and biochar will play a pivotal role in their lives as well. So we got to look at how this life-saving material is gonna change and protect the country, and bring it back to where it used to be at. But we have to also understand that this product right here cannot, um, in my opinion, based off the knowledge that I've gained so far, it would not help me to cut a tree down to make biochar to plant a tree. What will help me is understanding that a tree will fall, understand that product will be used in moderation, and if we could recycle the product or the byproduct of that, then we will be able to repair as we destruct, as we tear down.
It really, to take down a living tree that's already taking in a carbon doesn't make sense. We want to get diseased trees and fallen trees in the forest. Now, obviously, we have to leave some
Yes.
because there's a lot of life that goes on in dead trees. So it's not like dragging everything out of the forest, but
No.
there certainly is material that's removed for invasive species, and you can even burn algae if to make biochar. So there's a lot, really anything organic, but we want to make sure that it's sort of at the part of its life cycle where it's starting to decompose and would go back up in the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. We want to remove it at that point of the decomposition and then burn it so we can make it in a permanent state or semi-permanent state and
Mhm.
bury it in the soil, and where it does all its magic.
Okay. Now this right here is a chart that was pulled up off of your video that you done, and it shows the differences in we can't grow certain things. Could you explain to me what we see in this left, the dark soil versus the lighter soil?
Sure. So this is an example of that, that famous black soil that they talk about in the Amazon, the terra preta, which was the man-made soil. The soil on the right is the normal soil in the Amazon, and you can see that there's like the black is the organic material. So there's like no organic material on the right side. It's just clay.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place for the microbes to live, so there's no microbes. It's really, really not fertile. Um, the on the left is not just the biochar, but there is a lot more things that are there. There's increased nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, and total organic compounds. All of those things are made possible because of the biochar, the glue that holds it together.
This part right here is the finished product and what is happening in the finished product and what steps are being taken so before we get to the actual before we start using this product, this is the things that are actually happening to it.
Basically here, this was from my 6-week trip to Peru, and we
Okay.
are making biochar. Well, this is a
this is okay. So what we're looking at right now, you have 4 boxes right now, okay, and
yeah.
you have a young man right now to the top left. It looks as if he's in some type of a square type device. Now that device right there, we're going to get to the creator or the person who came up with the concept of creating this type of device that is used to make a form of biochar. Now, but what we're looking at is 4 boxes. This process right here that you're talking about, what is going on right here in the steps of making biochar?
So actually, this is we have previously filled where the guy has the stick. We have
Yeah.
filled that chamber with coconut husk,
Mm-hmm.
coconut shells,
Mm-hmm.
which was the fuel. We heated that. Originally had a cover on it. You can see the cover on the right side that's just sitting on leaning
Yeah, up
against.
against that's the top right hand square. Yes.
Yep. And so basically so we have for about a half an hour let the coconut husks heat up at intensely high heat, but there was no oxygen in that chamber. The heat
Mm-hmm.
came from a fire down below that chamber. And
Okay.
so what's happening is he's starting to empty out the burning embers. He's pouring in the upper right, he's literally pouring them on the ground. And then in the lower left, we're sprinkling them with water
Yeah.
to stop the fire. And then on the right, that's continuing, to completely putting out the fire very quickly with water. So basically, the chamber allowed the fire to burn, just from the heat and not from
Okay.
oxygen.
Now this
And
right here is the finished product. This is everything that this is the after product. What is this section right here that you showed on the video?
sure, so this is actually when we were making the terra preta black earth. And
Mm-hmm.
that is actually a combination of biochar,
Uh-huh.
things we went out in the field to collect. We collected cow poop, which
Okay.
was the organic material. We had made some compost, which doesn't normally occur in the Amazon, but we made compost from table scraps. And then it also has minerals that we went out in the field and collected.
Okay. Then what type of minerals were those if different types of vegetation, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, rocks.
Oh, different
We
types
went
of
to a quarry and we got we got special kinds of rocks.
Okay, now those rocks, what type of properties did they have, or what type of properties did they serve? What did they serve?
They
While
serve to put in, the minerals that are, occurring in the soil, but in that clay soil that you saw, the
yes,
minerals are very infrequent. So we went to a quarry and got them and ground them up and added them. So,
okay.
yep,
Now, okay, so now the purpose that they serve is more so like the active ingredients that allow the biomass to warm up to make the biochar. Am I correct?
yep,
All right. Now, like I said, it's multiple things that happen. Like there's a lot of what we would call waste, but it's good waste when you're making biochar. Let me make that clear.
right,
Okay, because you have this thing that's like an ingredient called bio oil, and then it's like a bio vinegar that is,
yep,
and then you have like the combustible gases that can be used for energy as well.
yep,
Um, and the condensation is what makes the oil. Now the oils can also be used as a fertilizer as well. Am I correct?
yep,
And then the
yep,
biochar. So you're creating two other forms of fertilizer, the vinegar and the oil. Well, actually three. Out of the biomass comes three types of fertilizer and a combustible gas. So we already have four things, and that's just off the top of our head before we even get any deeper, off of just making the biomass. And now the biomass is a combination of what you was just talking about just a second ago. Am I correct?
right.
Explain this portion right here, and this person right here, who is this like the person who created the concept, or who am I looking at
Yeah,
right
this
here?
is this is actually her design with with someone who is from the high Amazon, that they built them together. She built a bunch of them all around in sort of the northeast part of Peru,
Mm.
to bring back biochar to the people who had lost the ability to make it. So what you're seeing here
Mhm.
is the actual, retort, they call it. The
Okay.
top part is where they burn the coconut. We stuff that with coconut husks.
Oh, you
And
said this top portion right here. I'm gonna take it back just a couple seconds. So you saying this top portion? Let's bring it right back up. Say about right here. If you can see it right there. Okay. So are you saying that top portion that looks like the little cylinder, the round thing with the cross on it, is where you would store the, or is it at
coconut,
the bottom? That's where
that's
you.
where that's what the lower part, that chamber below, is
Uh-huh.
where we have a fire to make the heat that eventually makes that top cylinder so hot that it almost starts a combustion without oxygen inside. So it's just literally the heat that makes the corn husks burn and without oxygen. This is a group. She every periodically she would take groups down, and this was a group of 17 of us. I was by far by far sort of the older person in the group, but it was an absolutely mystically amazing experience, and it was way beyond biochar, but I'm focusing on biochar today. So biochar is part of what's called the terra preta, the black earth. You probably all know about the black earth, and you've heard about the famous Amazonian soils, terra preta. But biochar is the glue that holds those soils together. Without it, the soils would be just nothing but clay. They call that terra preta black earth Yana Achba. And in Yana Achba, there are a number of different ingredients, one of which is biochar, as you can see the second one from the bottom. There's also the first thing on the top was, it's Spanish for cow poop. And so we went out and collected all these things. So there's cow poop compost, there is rocks and minerals that we would go and collect the rocks. I'll get into that. And then there's these nuts down at the bottom, the Sachin-inchi nuts.
So, as you were saying, these are some of the ingredients that you were talking about earlier as it pertains to how to make the biochar. Am I correct? Those were the ingredients that you was talking about earlier. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. No, that's how to make the terra preta black earth. That's what we're
Okay, so now
here, which is the complete earth, and biochar is the part of it.
So now that was the ingredients. Now what after this process is complete, what do you do with this with the byproduct of this process right here?
Well, when we mixed everything together and we spent a month moving this huge pile back and forth for a month, twice a day, to really blend it all together and really cook it, because all of the components, the compost and the cow poop, started getting very hot, because you generated so much activity, microbial activity. And then we had a very fertile soil that we would take out and put in gardens around Lamas, where we were living in Peru.
Okay, all right. And so now because you're adding that to the soil, the nutrients is able to be absorbed more and allow vegetation to grow more easily in those areas that you applied that product to through that process right there. Now, is it indigenous to that area, or can we do that here in America?
Well, first of all, our soils are not half as degraded as they are in the Amazon. So we don't have to go to any of these lengths. So basically, just by adding biochar in compost, we've done a lot for our soils to make them more fertile.
Okay.
So that's the important thing, is just we don't have to add all the minerals and the other things, because fortunately our soils are in much better
shape. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That'd be great. Well, let me tell you something. This right here has been an outstanding talk that me and you have absolutely had. Now, what I would like to do first and foremost is I would like to first off like for you to end on some great remarks, something that you would like for the people to know, and hopefully they will be able to ingest this knowledge and move forward and spread the word around the world, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And I want to thank you, Mrs. Debbie. So could you please end on some great remarks and let the world know some things that, in closing, that you would like to say to them?
This has been wonderful to be able to talk about my favorite subject, biochar. And I'm not alone in my enthusiasm for it. It is actually being made all over the world. China's actually building a biochar plant a week, because they're trying to make their soil better and sequester carbon to fight climate change. So I think the most important thing is for everyone to learn as much as you can about it and figure out ways that you too can use it, so we can make some progress against all that carbon dioxide that we've put in the atmosphere, and make our soils better and healthier, and that'll make us better and healthier. Thanks.
thank you so much. I really want to thank you for coming out here and investing not only your time but your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears into ensuring that the people not only here in America but around the world are seeing the efforts that are being made, but not only you but the members that you associate yourself with. And I want to thank you personally from the bottom of my heart for the efforts that you are doing, and I thank you for gifting me with the ability to even have this interview with you. And I hope that you are pleased with the amount of people that are going to be watching this show and learning from not only you, but the hundreds, and if not millions, or more that are going to be bringing up conversations about this right here. This does not end today. It only begins to grow more, and each person who learns something can teach someone else something more. And that is how the society will continue to grow around the world. And I hope each and every last one of you who are hearing the sound of my voice and the sound of Madam Debbie's voice understands that this right here is a great thing that we're getting ourselves involved in, because we only have one planet. There is nowhere else for us to go, and up until 50 years ago we knew nothing about what we was really doing and the changes that we was making to this earth. But now that we have grown from our infancy stage, we have now ascended to levels of understanding that we have to know that the forests are not infinite, the birds are not infinite, the fish in the sea are not infinite, and we cannot just dump things anywhere. With this level playing field that we're now on, we're now growing ourselves and absolutely ingesting the wealth of knowledge that's being passed on by not only our peers but our seniors, people who have been here long enough, who have seen the changes. You know, David Attenborough spent his entire life nearly exploring this planet, and watching how it grows and seeing how, you know, the top soils have been depleted, how the ozone layers have been destroyed, how nearly one third and nearly moving closer to one fourth of our fishable fish from the oceans have been destroyed. And I mean, the list just goes on and on, and yet and still we do not pay attention. We do not pay attention. And this is not a scolding session right now. This is an eye awakening moment that we should be having right now, because I don't want us to get to a point to where we feel too good to address the issues that are standing before us, because we feel like our success is allowing us to progress. What we need to look at is the future of what we're doing. Every action has a reaction, and the more we pay attention to our actions, the more we can adjust the reactions, and the more we start being proactive instead of reactive, we can turn this world around. Mrs. Debbie, I want to thank you. This was an honor
Thank
and
you.
pleasure, and I cannot wait to get this out to the people so that they can actually see this. I wish you a safe journey, and I cannot wait to see more of what you're going to be out here doing. Okay.
Great. And you too. And you too, and all your journey and all the education you're imparting to everybody.
Thank you. We knew less, but now we're gaining the knowledge. And if we can push it out on all levels, and I mean on all levels, we will be able to make a change. But it takes a change to make a change.
Right.
And so, and with that being said, we will end this show right here with the hopes that many more will be able to come by and come and visit me and you. I thank you, Mrs. Debbie, and I wish you farewell. And I thank each and every last one of you guys for coming to check us out. Please stay tuned for more information about Mrs. Debbie and what she's doing to help make our future a better future. Thank you all, and I hope to see you guys again. Come back and see us one more time.